Sleep, the unrecognized cornerstone. Welcome to Slumber Secrets, your trusted guide to deep sleep, total rest, and sustained energy. Our mission is simple: to give you more than just advice, but science-backed methods that can fundamentally change your life. Experts agree on one thing: optimal health rests on three pillars: nutrition, physical activity, and sleep. And here is the critical truth: sleep is the cornerstone of that triad. When we don't get enough sleep, it immediately affects our eating habits. We crave high-carb foods, like cookies, in search of quick energy. And motivation to exercise simply evaporates. We must start with sleep, because it's a proactive strategy that stabilizes all other systems. We are currently facing a global crisis. Lack of sleep is a serious public health problem. Approximately 1 in 3 adults regularly fails to get enough rest. This chronic deficit doesn't just reduce daytime productivity, it multiplies the risk of developing serious chronic diseases: obesity, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and even dementia. To conquer this crisis, we need to understand how our body works. Fundamental physiology, the master clock conductor. To truly optimize sleep, we must first understand our primary built-in mechanism, our 24-hour internal clock, or circadian rhythm. This clock regulates our cycles of alertness and sleepiness. Known to scientists as Process C, this system evolved over millions of years to help us adapt to the Earth's rotation, optimizing energy expenditure and anticipating environmental changes. So, who conducts this 24-hour symphony? It's a tiny cluster of cells in the brain that we'll call the master clock, or SCN. This master clock coordinates our hormones, body temperature, appetite, and digestion. If its work is disrupted, chaos begins in the entire body. The main external factor that synchronizes this rhythm is, of course, light. When bright light hits your eyes, the master clock immediately suppresses the production of melatonin, the hormone that tells your body, time to sleep. In the morning, bright light does the opposite: it suppresses melatonin and simultaneously boosts cortisol, the hormone that gives us morning alertness. Your sleep is a delicate balance between two forces: the signals from the master clock and your internal sleep drive, the fatigue accumulated throughout the day. Optimal falling asleep happens when fatigue is at its maximum and the master clock gives the lights out signal. When this rhythm is disrupted, due to shift work, jet lag, or, most commonly, the blue light from our gadgets in the evening, desynchronization occurs. Our brain doesn't know if it's day or night. This not only causes daytime sleepiness but also increases the long-term risk of serious metabolic and heart diseases. Architecture of the night, stages of recovery. Sleep isn't just an off switch, it's a complex, cyclical process consisting of 4 main stages. A full cycle lasts about 90 to 120 minutes, and we go through 4 or 5 such cycles during a full night. Most of the night is spent in NREM sleep, or non-dream sleep, which is divided into 3 stages necessary for physical and mental recovery. N1, drowsiness, the lightest stage, occurring as we first fall asleep. Breathing and heart rate slow down, and involuntary muscle twitches may occur. N2, light sleep, we relax deeper. In this phase, experts believe the brain is actively organizing and filing away the information learned throughout the day. N3, deep restorative sleep, this is the deepest phase, absolutely critical for waking up feeling refreshed. This is when the body physically restores itself, releasing the growth hormone that repairs our tissues and muscles. Deep sleep is our heavy lifter for consolidating factual memory, names, dates, events. We get the majority of this sleep early in the night. That's why if you're awakened from this phase, you experience that unpleasant mental fog. Then we transition to REM sleep, rapid eye movement, which makes up about a quarter of the night. In the REM phase, the brain is incredibly active, which explains the most vivid and memorable dreams. Interesting fact: in this phase our skeletal muscles are temporarily paralyzed, a protective mechanism that prevents us from physically acting out our dreams. REM sleep is critical for cementing skills, learning, and creativity. The longest REM periods occur towards the morning, so if you cut your sleep short, for example, sleeping only 6 hours, you primarily lose this most vital phase. The cost of deficit, the brain's overnight cleanup. The consequences of chronic sleep deprivation go far beyond daytime fatigue. Sleep is essential for restoring energy and regulating metabolism. Insufficient sleep, less than 7 to 8 hours a night, is associated with an increased risk of obesity, diabetes, and heart diseases. Furthermore, the brain suffers. Even one day of deprivation impairs attention, memory, and the ability to make sound decisions. But perhaps the most striking function of sleep is brain detoxification. While we sleep, the brain's overnight sanitation crew activates a special plumbing system. The space between brain cells widens, and cerebrospinal fluid actively flushes out toxic molecules, including proteins that accumulate and are the root cause of Alzheimer's disease. Quality sleep is the indispensable overnight maintenance program that ensures longevity and cognitive health. Sleep hygiene basics: setting up the ideal environment. If sleep is a maintenance program, our job is to create the perfect environment for it to work. Optimization starts with the basics. The most important behavioral strategy is consistency. Set a fixed bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends. This helps your body stabilize its circadian rhythm. Under the stimulus control rule, condition your body to associate the bed only with sleep and intimacy. Any mentally stimulating activity, work, scrolling, worrying, must be moved out of the bedroom. If you can't fall asleep within 20 to 30 minutes, it's better to get up, do something dull, and then return to bed when you truly feel sleepy. Don't force sleep. The ideal bedroom should be dark, quiet, and, above all, cool. As you fall asleep, your body temperature naturally drops. A room that is too warm actively hinders this process. Experts recommend keeping the temperature in the range of 60 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 15.6 to 20 degrees Celsius. Light management: from bright morning to dark evening. The blue light emitted by our gadgets has the most powerful wavelength that affects our internal clock. Evening exposure to blue light blocks the production of melatonin, our internal sleep pill. The brain is tricked into thinking it's still daytime, making you feel alert instead of tired. The most effective way to minimize this is to turn off all bright lights and electronic devices at least 1 hour before bed. Conversely, if evening light is the enemy, morning light is your friend. Exposure to bright daylight, especially within the first 30 to 60 minutes of waking up, is critically important. Morning light helps you wake up by boosting cortisol, but most importantly, it resets your master clock, ensuring that melatonin rises properly and on time in the evening. Nutrition and movement: internal sleep chemistry. What you eat and drink directly affects your night's rest. Avoid stimulants like caffeine and nicotine for at least 4 to 6 hours before bed. They activate systems that keep you awake. Alcohol, despite its initial sedative effect, is metabolized, causing physiological arousal that shatters sleep in the second half of the night. Regarding diet, avoid foods high in saturated fat and sugar, as they can reduce the duration of deep, restorative sleep. Eat dinner early to give your body time to digest. Now for movement: regular physical exercise, at least 150 minutes of moderate activity per week, not only improves overall well-being but also reduces the risk of insomnia, sleep apnea, and restless legs syndrome. Physical activity effectively reduces pre-sleep anxiety. Experts advise avoiding intensive physical activity less than 1 hour before bedtime. The reason is simple: vigorous activity raises your core body temperature, which can delay sleep onset. Moderate exercise in the early evening or active workouts in the morning/afternoon are the best strategy. For biochemical preparation for sleep, use strategically chosen snacks. Tryptophan: this amino acid is a precursor to melatonin. Look for it in turkey, eggs, cheese, and pumpkin seeds. Magnesium: this mineral helps regulate your internal clock. It is found in avocados, bananas, and almonds. The ideal light snack combines a source of tryptophan, protein, with a small portion of complex carbohydrates, such as whole grain crackers with cheese or a banana with almond butter. Carbohydrates help shuttle tryptophan into the brain to produce melatonin. Advanced techniques and recognizing problems. If basic sleep hygiene doesn't work, you need to address psychological barriers. If you are suffering from mental overstimulation or anxiety, use